right, I'm good to go. It got beautiful out here in Les Sables d'Olonne. Welcome back to the Sailing Anarchy Report from the Vendée Globe 2012. And now I have a man who's done some really special things. One of the most experienced round-the-world sailors in the world, I think, certainly in Switzerland. Dominique Vabre, welcome to Sailing Anarchy.
Thank you.
Listen, this is your 9th time trying to go around the world? 10th time. Have you done anything else besides sail around the world?
Not really. Yeah, I have done America's Cup. I have done dinghies. I have done quite a lot of things.
Weren't you a coach for the Olympics too?
No, not for Olympics.
Okay,
no.
But America's Cup, Volvo or Whitbread.
For Whitbread, yes. America's Cup, Solitaire of the Figaro, Tour de France, quite a lot of things. Yeah.
What do you love the most about sailing around the world alone, or with a crew?
With a crew, it's something different. With the crew, it asks a team spirit, something which is more and more difficult, in my opinion, and my way or my behavior. And for more, I like not single head. What I like is what I prefer to do is to do it with my wife, like Barcelona World Race. But this race is single head, and I like it because it's kind of ultimate things you can do in sailing.
The ultimate thing, yeah. I was almost more interested about you and Michel sailing 2 Barcelona World Races, and I know Sailing Anarchy is certainly a big proponent of getting more women involved. And I have a wife who sails, and one of my dreams would be to sail around the world with her in a cool boat like this.
I realized your dream, in fact.
You did, and frankly, 50% of all sailors out there's dream. How does that work with your relationship, sailing with your wife, and how do you do it so that you're always on the same team?
Yes, first, Michelle is really a well-experienced girl in sailing. She has done with Maiden around the world race already. So when we met, she was already one of the top women in the world in sailing outside. So together, when we are sailing on the boat, in fact, we are skipper and co-skipper. We are not really anymore a couple. We are a couple when we are here in Hearth or getting ready for the race, but in racing it's just skipper and co-skipper to be efficient. So it's a little bit, we let our private life outside of the boat. Inside the boat we are just professional sailors. That's probably the way to keep a relationship based on efficiency. And it's what you need to do if you want to do it long.
It's not very romantic.
No, that's not the goal. Romantic is after, because you can share after. You remember that, you remember this time, and so on. And also what is very nice, it's communication on board is very easy. It's just one word, she understands what I mean, and okay. And also the trust is 100%. If you have a professional sailor as a co-skipper, you always have a little ego trip possible, or miscommunication, it's always possible. With your wife, no. And
it's a real team, a real equal team.
Yeah, a real equal team.
Now I know Michelle is she a triathlete or a marathon runner or something like that?
She was long jumping when she was young. Yes, she's very athletic.
And she's super fit, obviously. And you're very fit too, but you're 57 years old, the oldest man in the fleet. How does that change how you sail this boat now that you're a little older, a little less strong?
So with that change, the anticipation for maneuvering. In fact, anyway, if you are strong, you can do nothing by yourself. Okay, you need to be in the number of turns correct on the winches and so on. So just for me, probably hoisting the gennaker is 9 minutes if it's 6 or 7 minutes for someone who is more fit or stronger. But it's not the main things to be strong on this kind of boat. You know, the young woman or some women who do that are not as strong as that, and they have beaten big guys. So the physical strength is not the main thing.
What about likelihood of injuries? And I mean, you have to stack, okay? You have to move the sails. And what about do you worry about your back? I have a terrible back, and I'm only 40. Do you have to take more care of your back? Do you have to be more careful of the medicament, the medication that you bring?
No, not really. In fact, if you have a good life hygiene, okay, and you train regularly, no reason that you are not strong and you're injured more than another one. Just what you know yourself better, so you anticipate. Maybe I'm doing some more exercise before stacking the sails, or after I'm doing more exercise also. But just that, it's not a big deal. I have done this Vendée Globe in 2012, 12 years ago. I was probably fitter than now, but I don't feel a big difference in the time of maneuvering, jibing, really? Or taking a reef. No.
Experience makes up for an awful lot of strength.
Yes, also, and if you are clever in the way you begin maneuver, you know that maneuver is 20 minutes, by example, for a big jibe. In the south, okay, you have 20 minutes of effort, you just control your earth rhythm and so on and so on. If you are 40 or 50, it don't make such a big difference.
I was surprised to see that that since Chabot, there has not really been any female skippers besides in this race, besides Sam and besides the English, right? Besides the English, but from Europe or anywhere else, it seems hard to get female skippers to take over in a race like this. Is there something that can be done with that? Or is there sort of any kind of a system that encourages those sailors to get in the Figaro or whatever in France?
Yes, in France it's still.
Or Switzerland. I mean.
Yeah, Switzerland it's a bit special case, but in France, it's still a little macho ambiance mentality.
A little Latin.
Yeah, a little bit Latin exactly, and it's still here. So that means that for women, if they have to do like a double proof that they are competent, that they are competitive and so on, to find a good sponsor investing money on her. It looked like it's still a general Latin mentality. It's not a kind of only in sailing, but I think in general sport or social life also. For a woman, it's more you go to the south, it's become difficulter and difficult. South of Mediterranean Sea, that it's very, very difficult. So still here in France, we should admit that it's not so easy to be really a car.
And I'd love to see IMOCA put more energy into promoting, and the Vendée Globe into promoting more women doing this. I don't know if they'll watch this.
We have so much to promote, We have to promote the class, we have to promote the safety, we have to promote also the idea we have to go around the world in such boats. We have to take care about the economical crisis to try to decrease the cost of the project and so on. And we have to encourage young guys, young project and women to come into the class. That's a lot of goals.
That's why we don't understand why Mr. Talbourdet keeps taking the job again every year.
I was before Mr. Talbourdet. I was the president. So.
And you were smart. You got out.
Yeah. Keep the job.
Let me ask you about the choices that you make with this Owen Clark boat. Obviously, you built it in part because of the Barcelona World Race to sail with Michel.
No, not really, because when we decided to build this boat, the Barcelona World Race
didn't exist.
In fact, Mark Turner came to us very early to say, I have an idea for you both, but the boat was already built. In fact, we have a Murphy Owen boat because they had a contact after Transat Anglaise, the North Star, in Boston, and I finished second, and Murph were very impressed, so we had quite a lot of discussion, and I was impressed by Mark Golding and his boat. So discussion, and we decided to build this boat in New Zealand. So that in 2006. So that makes quite a long year now. We make this boat moving, increasing things, new mast, new keel, and things like that.
I noticed that if you look at a boat like PRB or like Hugo Boss, the old Veolia Environnement, you see they're very much. They look like there's only room for one person. I mean, everything is tiny, and the living space is tiny, and this area is tiny. You have a much bigger area here, and down below is more open too. And I wonder if is that just work with your? Do you like it more open, or do you feel a little bit too exposed compared to maybe some of those boats?
No, in fact, that becomes with the time. In the beginning, it was that way with two wheels here because I like wheels. As I told you, I've done Whitbread and America's Cup, so steering wheel, I'm used to that. So having the wheels here in the back makes the cockpit wider.
Yeah.
Okay. So to be single head, it's better to have no wheels, to be in direct contact between the winches and the tiller.
Of course.
So that means that the cockpit obviously was that way. So we just keep the cockpit that way. We didn't do anything narrower than just for that.
I think she's a great boat. I wonder about your sponsor too. Mirabeau is a bank, right? Swiss bank. So Mirabeau, we sort of appreciate what they do because it's this. I think it's this conservative Swiss bank, but they sponsor these cool boats. Your boat and the Foiler, the LX and other cool boats. What do they get being a Swiss company out of an event that is still very French?
Yeah, it's very French, but it's very Swiss also. As you know, we are two Swiss here, two Swiss guys for a small country. As we are, two boys here is quite a lot. A lot of people are fascinated by sailing in Switzerland. About the Lac Léman, about Boldor, and so on. So all these people, and for Mirabeau, it's important to communicate in Switzerland before all, and also in Spain because they have a card in Spain, and also in France. So it's very logical to do Barcelona World Race, Transat Jacques Vabre, and Vendée Globe in the program. That's correct. And they trust me to have a good ambiance around the boat, quite serious. That is the image of the bank. So it's good correlation in between the mentality of the bank and mine.
If you walked onto the dock and your boat wasn't here, and Talbourdet came up to you and he said, "Okay, we're leaving for the Vendée Globe tomorrow. Which boat do you want to take? Which one do you choose?"
It's in between Virbac and Massif, I think.
Something a little bit more reliable than Massif, and a little bit lighter than Virbac.
It's for around 10 boats. I can go each other because they are pretty similar, and to do a choice like that it's a bit stupid in a way. So we can do okay. This one it's 10.
I think what you're saying, there's more parity in this fleet with the boats, parity, says D, than there's ever been, I think, in a Vendée Globe.
Yes, 4 years ago it was quite different with 30 boats and some very new in the water. It was a big disparity between the old one and the brand new, which was not really reliable. That's the reason why we finished with a small fleet at the end, small fleet at the end. Now it's more mature. In fact, every team has been long except two or three boats, but every team was ready for a long time. And also the professionalism is very high. So I think that the fleet will be more compact. And I can imagine easily 15 boats close together near Cape Town. After in the south is another story, but crossing Atlantic quite together.
Do you think that level will translate into a much higher percentage of the fleet finishing this time?
Yeah, it's what I hope.
Well, we all hope.
Yeah, we all hope. But the sponsor and all of that, and what we work in when I was president of IMOCA, we do a big briefing in Barcelona after the previous Vendée Globe. That was really the goal. The goal is okay. We keep safety, we keep good sportive equity, but also we increase the reliability of the fleet. So the results in 3 months.
Good luck and have a great time. And I know your wife will certainly be watching, but we'll all be watching from the States. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you for your job. I'm every day on your website.
Every day on Sailing Anarchy.
Yeah. Have a quick look.
He's a good guy. We like him. And he's 57, so it's not just for kids.
No, not only for kids. I know that. Not only for women. I know this.